Hello, everyone. This is Devin Thorpe for Your Mark on the World, and we are fortunate to have with us today a pair of extraordinary individuals who have dedicated their lives to social entrepreneurship specifically because of their Christian faith. Josh Kwan and Dave Blanchard are co-founders. Dave is the president of Praxis. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me today. We're grateful to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Dave, I wonder if you would just walk us through quickly what Praxis is. Give us the quick introduction.
Sure, my pleasure. So Praxis is an organization that was really formed to help entrepreneurs who are coming from a position of their Christian faith, and we wanted to, in a setting where they have peers and mentors who share that faith, equip their organizations for success in the world as they go out and try to have impact.
Fantastic. Josh, I wonder if I could get you to comment on one of the challenges that I sometimes see with religious-oriented social entrepreneurship activities, and I think this is a real issue, and I say this as someone who's deeply religious. Why there are people who react negatively when we associate our social entrepreneurship with religious activities. And I wonder, Josh, if you would just comment on why you think that is and how you deal with it when you deal with people who question your motives, question your actions, your value when you associate it with a religious motivation.
Sure, happy to do that. I think all people who try to change the world for the better, who try to create virtue in society and serve other people, they do it from a framework of a worldview. I think there's whether you're religious or not, or you have a faith or not, you do have a worldview about how the world looks and why it's the way it is and where it should go. And so I think people, Christians or Jews or Muslims, they have a particular set of ideas about how the world works and how they are motivated to improve the world. They're called to take their talents and their gifts and resources and help those who are less fortunate or disadvantaged, and to create a culture that's more virtuous, that has more generosity, that's more forgiving, that shows more grace. And these are values I think that we all share. Christians have a particular understanding of how those values came about, right? And we believe in a God who gave His Son to die for our sins and all the rest. But I think there's a common good, I think, that we can all agree upon. And that common good is what we should focus on when we try to collaborate with one another across different faiths. So when we think about our work, we think about how we maybe have slightly different motivations, but maybe a common goal, a common desire to see the world be a better place. And I think we as Christians can be great partners. If you look at the global church, the church in so many parts of the world is a place of community, a place for people to spend time together, a place where people want to volunteer and give their time and resources. And they want to help their neighbors. And so I think even if there's an organization, a nonprofit, or social enterprise that doesn't have a particular faith behind it, they can reach out to the church as a partner because the church is so well networked and has such great credibility in so many communities.
I think that's great insight. Dave, I want to explore with you a little bit about what motivates you, what drives you. You've devoted yourself full-time to this. I wonder if you could express in really personal terms why it is that you are doing this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. Well, I'd say, real briefly, my personal journey to Praxis was always an entrepreneurial one, but frankly, in my earlier days, I was really focused on what entrepreneurship meant for me. What value could I extract out of the world that would benefit me and allow me to live a life that gave me the autonomy and financial resources and things like that I wanted. But I actually came back into my faith growing up a pastor's kid, didn't really fully embrace that for a while after going to college. And so what motivates me today is actually something the opposite, I think. James K. A. Smith says that redemption is a reorientation and redirection of our culture-making capacities. And I really like that idea. I hope that I can reorient and redirect my capacities to help other entrepreneurs also see the possibilities for them to do that. I know how hard entrepreneurship is, but also how fruitful it can be when directed in the right way. So my hope is to work with Josh and the rest of our team to kind of unleash those possibilities with entrepreneurs. Fantastic.
And Josh, I'm wondering, what are the changes you most want to see in the world? I realize you probably work with a broad range of entrepreneurs, but I suspect if you're like me that there are some projects that get you more excited than others, regardless of the nobility of the people involved. There are probably some things that you love to see. What are the things that really float your boat?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I'm passionate about people who are suffering and who have lives that are just significantly harder than ours. We are so fortunate to be living in the United States and to be in a place where there's rule of law, where there's economic opportunity, where we have a chance to practice our religion freely. I think in the vast majority of the world, it's a day-to-day existence. There's grinding poverty out there, and there's horrific violence. These are injustices. This breaks God's heart. It breaks my heart, and I imagine it breaks your heart too. And this is why you are motivated to do what you do. So, on a broad level, I would love to see a world where people can worship freely, can exercise the dignity of work to provide for their families, to be able to live as a want to practice their faith and love one another, and really just be a place where we can exercise the virtues of generosity and community. And that sounds very abstract, I know, but there's practical steps you can take along those lines. And yeah.
Dave, I wonder if you can give us some examples of some of the social entrepreneurs that you are working with or have worked with in the past that have kind of been through your programs and are out there making a difference in the world.
Sure. Well, we have 48 organizations in our portfolio right now that are working really across the spectrum. So I'm going to do a disservice to the ones I don't mention by the ones I do mention. But I'll say we've got organizations like Matchbook Learning, started by Sajjan George, that's trying to turn around our nation's bottom 5% of public schools. We've got Mark Sears from Cloud Factory, who started a business in Nepal that's employing thousands of people through helping do data work for Western companies. We've got Tegu, a company focused on toys based in Honduras that manufactures high-end toys to give employment to over 100 Honduran folks, and is innovating in the spaces of 401k and savings plans for their employees. And we've got folks who are working in science and genomics. Jimmy Lin was part of our first class with the Rare Genomics Institute, helping children who wouldn't normally have access to great scientists get access to them. So you can kind of see it's across the spectrum and across the world, and we enjoy it that way.
Well, it's fantastic. I think I met Jimmy once upon a time. Great guy. And I recently connected with another of your entrepreneurs that's working in Uganda with the Aquila Institute. So, yeah, you've got some great people out there and doing great stuff. Josh, what got you started in this? What were the early steps that helped bring this together from your perspective?
Yeah, I think when Dave and I looked at what young people are passionate about these days. You see this when you do your interviews. So many people want to start something, or they want to join a startup. They want to be part of changing the world in some corner, right? And we see this huge wave of entrepreneurs coming into the scene. And entrepreneurs these days are some of the most highly respected people in society, right? If you look at when people talk about Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, These are people whose influence goes well beyond the company or the nonprofit that they started. And we think about how the entrepreneur's worldview is expressed in the world, right? Wouldn't it be something that, wouldn't it be great to have people, more people like Scott Harrison, who started Charity Water, who are passionate about changing the world, and do so from a winsome perspective, right? And then challenge the way that charity is conducted, and challenge the issue of transparency of clean water. And so we want to create a program where people can think about the expression of their faith and create high caliber organizations, right? That are producing wonderful change in the world. So we want to create an environment where people can sort of explore their faith as a believer, as someone who's a CEO, as a founder, as an entrepreneur. How do you manage all those tension areas around faith and work and family? How do you invest your time? How do you treat your people? How do you think about what you create in the world? I think that your worldview should have some influence about what you produce in service or product or whatever you do with your company or nonprofit. So we think of we have those kinds of conversations in our community, right? So we want to take a step back, and we want to be able to invest in the people that are in our program, so that they have amazing spiritual lives and personal lives and family lives, every bit as strong as the company or the nonprofit that's just going gangbusters in growth.
That's fantastic. I really appreciate that perspective, and you're bringing that orientation to social good. I wonder, Dave, if you would describe the program and your investment strategy, and I guess what I'm wanting you to do is kind of explain to a Christian entrepreneur who may be listening to this and isn't familiar with your program what it does, what they get, and how they should engage with you then to participate. Dave, did I lose you? It seems maybe we lost Dave. Josh, maybe you could pick that one up.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So our program, we have two tracks. We have a nonprofit program for nonprofit entrepreneurs, and then we have a business program for people running companies. We take 12 organizations in each. We have 3 meetings during that program time period. It lasts from 6 to 9 months. In those three meetings, we're able to draw our fellows together, and we fly in mentors to spend intense time with our fellows. We think about providing 4 key things to our fellows that will provide them success in their personal and organizational lives. So we have a peer community for them, people who are A+ entrepreneurs with great ideas and a desire to express their faith. We have world-class mentors who sort of climb the mountaintop of success, but also have been through some valleys and can walk entrepreneurs through the hard times and ask the hard questions and be there as a resource. And then we also think about connecting our fellows to like-minded capital sources, introductions to capital sources. And the final piece is that Dave and I are part of a core team of Praxis mentors, and we have a small staff and some part-time people who invest deeply with their skills and talents. We think about storytelling. We think about fundraising and raising capital. We think about how they can refine and identify their impact model and really understand how to share the results that they've achieved. So we think there's some common things that every organization needs. And then once they get on site to our program, we really tailor their experience to connect them to conversations and mentors that they need to grow.
Fantastic. Now, Dave, maybe you can just tell us to wrap up here how people can connect, what the application process is like. If people want to join your program, what do they do?
Yes, thanks. The application process for each program is open at a different time. Our business application process is actually open as we speak, closes July 1st, and then the program runs from October to March of 2015. Our nonprofit cycle will open up in October, 1st of October, and that will close end of the year. And then that program will kick off in April of 2015 and go through September of 2015. So the best way for folks to connect with us, though, is to shoot us an email. Applications@PraxisLabs is a great place to email if you're interested in applying for the program. We like to get to know people before they fill out a form on our website and tell us they're interested. So we're happy to do that and have a quick chat or trade emails.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate your time today and wish you every success in your great work. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Devin.
Yeah, thanks again for having us.
All righty. Let's do some good.